Everyone wants to talk about Dallas's problems in December. Saints would love to talk about it because they've been a big help in creating those 5 straight wins against the Cowboys, all in the month of December. Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, NFL.com's Pat Kirwan. Glad to be with you on the NFL Preview Show presented by Tyson Anytizers. We'll get to that in just a sec, Pat. But you're talking about a Dallas team that is feeling down on itself in terms of the fact that everybody is down on them, the outside pressure for them to have to win now, and to have to go to New Orleans and knock off a team that hasn't lost the season. That's a very tall order.
It is tall order. I don't know that they're down on themselves, but they feel that outside pressure. Their owner's up in the booth. They sense that. They think their coach might get fired, but they can still control their destiny. They have a very tough game. I think they laugh a little bit at this December thing. People think, oh, they must be in a locker room thinking about it. No, they're not. They're thinking about trying to beat the New Orleans Saints. That's hard enough. Their schedule's the problem in December this year. Put St. Louis and Cleveland on this schedule, there's no December problem.
Arizona's got St. Louis and Detroit on that schedule. They'd love to switch.
We'll be saying how great they are in December.
Would love to switch with that. In terms of going into New Orleans and winning, the Saints are a much better team at home. The people are talking about the last 2 weeks.
Sure.
They've won by a field goal in each games in close games against Atlanta and Washington on the road. But at home, they have dominated and absolutely crushed opponents, New England the most recently. What does Dallas have to do in this ball game?
They've got to score 40 points because these guys are going to get 37, 38 points at home. They have a fast rhythm. They come out and they score fast and early. They like to get up. They're almost 200 points in the first half of games this year, and they run the ball for 5 yards a carry on first downs. So your tackles, their offensive tackles, have a very distinct advantage against pass rushers in that house, and the quarterback, you can't get to him.
And Drew Brees doesn't take sacks, as you just mentioned, and DeMarcus Ware most likely not going to go in this ball game. Who has to step up for the Cowboys because he is their leading sacker?
Well, you take your best pass rusher that's left, that's Phillips. You move him over to the right side on pass downs, and you let him replace DeMarcus. How do you handle the other side? Bobby Carpenter, to me, could play the rundowns, and they know the Saints are going to run the ball on first downs, so Carp comes in and plays on the rundowns, and then you get Victor Butler, who replaced Sean Phillips earlier in the year when he was hurt, when he flashed right away. He's a 4th-round pick last year, had 3 sacks. That's going to give you your best opportunity to rush the passer. Will it be good enough? Not against the guy who gets sacked once every 31 pass attempts.
All right, so you talked about the fact that Dallas is to score 40 points in this ballgame. The offense has played well. Tony Romo has played very well. What do you expect from him in this ballgame? Because the Saints defense has been giving up a lot of big plays the last couple of weeks.
Sure, either the last 4 games is what they'll use to get their game plan together. Tony Romo, he's been over 100 quarterback rating for 4 straight weeks. He's not the problem. 7 touchdowns. He's not throwing interceptions. But you got to balance this up. You got to stick with that running game. And I would be, if I was the head coach, we're getting a 35 run call in this game, no matter what. Get the ball in the hands of those guys. And occasionally down the red zone, use that wildcat with Deshaun choice.
Do you think it will be enough for them to go into New Orleans and give the Saints their first loss?
No, I don't. And I wish I could say it was. And we'll all be talking about how December's the problem. It's not. It's the Saints. I think the Saints are going to go undefeated. I think they're going to run right into the championship game. And we'll talk about later what I think is going to happen then. But I think they go undefeated for the season.
Yeah, we'll talk next week if they win this game, how important 16-0 is to this team, if it is in your opinion or not, because they have a chance to clinch home field advantage throughout the entire NFC part of the postseason, where the Colts have already clinched the AFC. For more on this game, stay with CBSSports.com. Remember, Saturday night, Saints and the Cowboys. That'll do it for the NFL Preview Show presented by Tyson Anytizers, the meaty Good Man Snack. For Pat Kirwan, I'm Jason Horowitz. Take care, folks.